From within your mind, no one else can find a life that you inspire. From another place, not from outer space, from someplace even higher. From the stars, I can touch, I can feel, I can hear and see so much more than a fantasy. I can run, I can jump, I can dance and sing. Believe in yourself and do anything.
Believe in yourself and do anything.
From within your mind, no one else can find the life that you inspire. From another place, not from outer space, from someplace even higher. From the stars, I can walk, I can talk, I can listen and learn as the wheels in my mind begin to turn. But I'll never forget what you've given to me. The power to touch, feel, hear and see.
The power to touch, feel, hear and see.
From within your mind, no one else can find the life that you inspire. From another place, not from outer space, from someplace even higher. From the stars, I can touch, I can feel, I can hear and see so much more than a fantasy. I can run, I can jump, I can dance and sing. Believe in yourself and do anything.
Believe in yourself and do anything.
From within your mind, no one else can find the life that you inspire. From another place, not from outer space, from someplace even higher. From the stars, I can walk, I can talk, I can listen and learn as the wheels in my mind begin to turn. But I'll never forget what you've given to me. The power to touch, feel, hear and see.
The power to touch, feel, hear and see.
Your mind, no one else can find the life that you inspire. From another place, not from outer space, from someplace even higher. From the stars, I can touch, I can feel, I can hear and see so much more than a fantasy. I can run, I can jump, I can dance and sing. Believe in yourself and do anything.
Believe in yourself and do anything.
From within your mind, no one else can find the life that you inspire. From another place, not from outer space, from someplace even higher. From the stars, I can walk, I can talk, I can listen and learn as the wheels in my mind begin to turn. But I'll never forget what you've given to me. The power to touch, feel, hear and see.
The power to touch, feel, hear and see.
From within your mind, no one else can find the life that you inspire. From another place, not from outer space, from someplace even higher. From the stars, I can touch, I can feel, I can hear and see so much more than a fantasy. I can run, I can jump, I can dance and sing. Believe in yourself and do anything.
Believe in yourself and do anything.
From within your mind, no one else can find the life that you inspire. From another place, not from outer space, from someplace even higher. From the stars, I can walk, I can talk, I can listen and learn as the wheels even higher.
More than a fantasy. No, you're gonna jump, I can dance and sing. Believe in yourself, do anything. Hi everyone! How are you all doing? I hope you're having a great Tuesday evening. At least it's evening here on the East Coast, Midwest area. Eastern time zone. That's a way to put it. How's everyone doing? Good, I hope. Let me see if I missed anything. Cosmic Cats 42, thank you for 22 months. Says, hey Hannah in chat, hope everyone is having a good week. I'm doing alright. I've been dehydrated. Like, I've been getting headaches a lot, and I think it was a dehydration issue because I've been drinking more water the past couple days and they've been going away. So, Habitual Dodo redeems a hydrate. I actually have to go fill this up. I forgot to fill it up right before stream. I usually do. So get your bingo cards ready. We are going to play Tinfoil Tuesday Bingo today. If we do a boost train and get to level 5, I'll put on all my tinfoil stuff. I think that's about it. Did I clear the bingo card, actually? I might have forgotten today. Let's look. Mr. Whiskers, thanks for 100 bits. Meek says, Andrew Tate is a Muslim now. Remember when he was an Orthodox Christian? That's interesting. Well, we can't cover him anymore anyway. He's banned everywhere. I actually don't know if he has a Twitch ban. I don't think he ever tried to join Twitch. Banned on YouTube. Does he still have an Instagram? Does he have a BitChute or something? I have no idea where that guy posts now. He got banned from Insta. Where does he post? Mr. Whiskers, thanks for gifting a sub. Nick Snort, thanks for 28 months. Almost kicks off a hype train. By the way, if you like this, I don't even want to call it a remix. It's basically the Rem Lazar Higher song, but with a beat behind it. Here's a link. I found this on Spotify today, and I was like, yep, yoink. Daryl Brooks Jr. closing argument is absolute dog shit. I was literally listening to that up until the moment I hit go live. Not even that. It was already live until I switched the screen and unmuted myself. I was listening. That closing statement is a nightmare. Discordant Vol with 100 bits. Whistle 34 with 100 bits says, go hype train. Exmo Jimbo, thanks for gifting a sub and getting us over level 1 of the boost train. Appreciate it. Andrew Tate posts on MySpace. I'm honestly glad MySpace crashed and burned at some point because the embarrassing middle school posts I had on there, I'm glad they're gone. 14% to level 2 on the boost train. Anonymous, thanks for gifting a sub to Halloween Town. 41% to level 2. From another place, not from outer space, but from some place even higher. Ramblers are. Oh, good news! You guys know Russian vids or RV Truth? I was looking for what to watch today, and it turns out RV Truth has been banned from YouTube, so that's good. He's the guy that always plays clips from They Live at the end of all of his videos. He's friends with Call. Can we stay in the Lazar zone all stream? Maybe. No Peter updates. He's still working on his documentary. I don't have any updates on Calm now. I don't really keep up with him anymore. I know he changed his channel names and switched to like a new name. He's lowest common denominator at this point, so I don't know. We just haven't done him in a while because he covers all the same stuff as everyone else. Red Werewolf with 80 bits. Dave M1 with 200 bits. Overthought with 50 bits says someone send Danzy to Rem Lazar's song so she can parody it. That'd be beautiful. 60% to level 2 on the boost train. I'm just gonna celebrate RV Truth getting banned. Discordant Vol, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs to the community. Tea Time Tea, thanks for 50 bits. Bumble Homestead with 100 bits says, listening and shopping. Husband's been cast as the granddad in the Nutcracker, and I have to get him some makeup. Ooh, fun. Mr. Whiskers with 100 bits says something to check out for future tinfoil. The life that you inspire. Okay, that seems interesting. Sorry, MH Dark Beast, I'll go back and look. Fedekagami, thanks for 100 bits. MH Dark Bit says... How far back was it? Hold on. Believe in yourself. Like you inspire. Was it just the link? Here's something special for this spoopy Halloween conspiracy day. I'm assuming it was this. Halloween is the devil's day. Dave, wait, no. Moira Soma, thanks for 18 months, says, this is our second stream, baby. What's it called? Zem Lamar. First name bunch of numbers, thanks for gifting a sub. Drop the mic with 11 months, says, hi Hannah in chat, hello. Zem Lamar! 88% to level 4. Is today a Halloween special of conspiracy? If not, can we have a Halloween special? That'd be fun. I'll see what I can do. Monster Jr., thanks for 19 months. 8% to level 5. Almost to level 5 of the boost. Not from outer space, but from someplace even higher. Remlazar. Great to see some Luciferian representation. Remlazar. Wheels in my mind begin to turn. Hi.
He asked to give the jury a round of applause.
What?
He said, I know it's probably not proper, but if you could give it to me, you deserve a round of applause.
Daryl Brooks asked to give the jury a round of applause, apparently.
And it was completely silent.
And it was silent. Can I dress up as Remlazar for Halloween? If someone wants to make me a costume. Monster Jr., thanks for gifting 10 tier 1 subs. Bolterdash with 55 bits says, hey, do you think it's okay to skip certain news stories for mental health reasons? Because I feel guilty when I do. Yeah, I do that. Mr. Whiskers says it will technically still Samhain at the start of the next Tinfoil Tuesday. Or Samhain or whatever. 66% to level 6, so we will get all the tinfoil stuff. How you doing?
How are you?
I'm good. Who's Daryl Brooks? He's a guy who's on trial for 6 murders and injuring a bunch of people. He drove through a Christmas parade. He's a big piece of shit. He's defending himself because he decided to be his own lawyer, and it's going badly.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, they're on closing arguments today, so deliberation will start probably tomorrow morning. I was grooving. Just because you can't hear the music doesn't mean that my spirit can be stifled.
Oh, Jesus. Profane Priestess has a question. Go ahead and ask.
When are we going to watch the rest of the trial? Sometime in the next week, we'll go through the rest from where we left off. At least, you know, the highlights. From another place,
Could have handed that to you.
Could you hand me my bandana?
I can.
Did I hear about the Tarascan heat stat block? I did not. 71% to level 6. Discordant Vole with 100 bits says there's some dark stuff regarding Brooks and the right-wing cesspool. It really shows their need for the ritual humiliation of their ideological opponents. I don't even want to know. Discordant Vole says you really don't. Yeah. I'm good. Thank you. Love you. Let me get my other glove, and we'll be good to go. 74% to level 6. Turn the music off. Sometimes some crimes go slipping through the cracks, but these two gumshoes are picking up the slack. Gnome Pickles with 50 bits says, I love coming to watch you and Baja being cute. It makes me smile. Sorry to be weird. That's not weird. That's fine. Thank you. Dave says, does Brooke have a tinfoil outfit like yours? Or Brooks, rather. No, he has a very nice orange one he's going to be wearing for the next 60 years or so, though. 84% to level 6. Discordant Vole with 100 bits and Empty the Tanks with 45 says, Hannah, I haven't caught one of your streams in months. Your voice sounds great. Thank you. Good to see you back. Thank you so much for the level 5 hype train, everyone. Get your bingo cards ready, and let's just jump right into it. Eee! Cool. What shall we start with today? As I said, Russian vids has been removed from YouTube, at least for the moment, so that's a nice piece of news. Hey, what's Chris up to? He seems like he's doing great. Doodly Do X, thanks for 6 months. old man broods in kitchen with Halloween light. No, there's sound. You guys aren't missing anything. He's just being eerily silent right now. What is he doing? Thank
Sitting
you,
there.
Occult Comics. I'll take a look after this video.
Probably enjoying this amazing light show. And I'll tell you, it really is. Let me show you.
Microwaves make great lighting for your video. Chromatic Cuttlefish says, this is Cece's kitchen on shrooms. What is the point of this one?
The reason why I purchased this is because of the dome.
See, I purchased it because I just like Halloween and spooky stuff. I've never purchased anything because my concern about the shape of the earth. Gnome Pickle says, oh, thank goodness he doesn't have a weapon. Not a visible one.
Take a look at that.
It was on sale.
CVS.
Oh, if you got that at CVS, you got you
You know what I
overpaid.
find really amazing about it is that the light is actually being projected from the bottom, and that's how you're getting this spectacular light show. And that's what I believe is going on. The sun and the moon. It's being projected, but not from outside, from inside.
The sun is coming from inside the dome? Holographic moon and sun on the bingo card.
Alright, so the last video that I made, did you see the glowing neon light? That blue light that you see? I mean, we know that the moon is projecting cold. Okay. We all know that the sun is
That's not how thermodynamics works.
projecting heat.
You can't, like... Heat is a thing. Cold is just an absence of heat. Heat is a measure of the energy and motion of atoms. So cold is just the absence of that. You can't project coldness. You can only project warmth. You can project energy. You can't project the opposite of that.
Okay. And there is no relationship with the sun and the moon. Yeah. You know, it sucks, guys. I bought all of this. I bought everything. I was hook, line, and sinker with Star Trek, fucking Star Wars, all this shit. Okay. You know what? That's it. I'm done. I thank you for subbing. I thank you for viewing my videos and let me be part of your life.
I don't even think Chris knows why he made that video. That was about nothing. What is he doing? Well, that's Chris for the week. Ablative laser cooling would make his head explode. Okay, we had on the bingo card holographic moon sun. Does anyone remember what number that is? Maybe on page 2. First name bunch of numbers says, look, I love Star Trek, but it's not a documentary. It's what? Gnome Pickle says, is he just mad he can't be a Federation captain? Because I finally understand him. 80, holographic and or fake sun sky. Cool. I actually don't think he mentioned flat Earth, so I don't think we get flat Earth, even though obviously we know he believes it. He didn't say it, so... Wow. Hey, Jalen. I know he said the dome. The video title said flat Earth. Good, close enough. Close enough. Flat Earth. I'm sure we would have gotten that later anyway.
The internet is on fire. Pfizer clone Katy Perry glitched on live television, and it's Justin Bieber all over again. Millions of people have been killed and injured.
No. No, they have not. Disclaimer, nothing this guy says is true. He's full of shit.
By this death fax, and the CDC just authorized it.
Yeah, conspiracy theorists have been sharing this video of Katy Perry and been like, see, it shows she's a reptilian or a clone or a robot. Her eyelash glue. She's wearing big theatrical fake lashes, guys. Her eyelash glue is melting in the heat of all the lights, and it's dripping in her eye. Which, like, I just think from context clues you can see she's wearing big fake lashes. Like, I don't know.
For children, basically making it obligatory for children to go to school. Get your death fax.
Wait a minute. Children have to go to school?
As you're surrounded by death towers, as you're being fluoridated.
Okay, so far we have 5G and fluoridization.
Poisoned with GMOs and pesticides. Obviously, the government hates you. All of these people hate you. That's why gas prices are so high. You will eat bugs. You will own nothing. As these clones...
Clones?
...are glitching on television. And that's another big question. What's going on? Clones are glitching everywhere. It's not just Katy Perry or Hillary Clinton. They're everywhere. It's like The Island. It's like The Matrix. What is going on? Here's the footage of Hillary dropping dead 9/11/2016. She shows up.
She literally didn't drop dead. She was sick at the time.
At the clone clinic. It's not her. And there are endless examples.
Believe sci-fi technology actually exists. Actually, no, because that's covered by clones. Just clones, sorry.
Examples of this.
At least for now.
Google engineers just warned that Skynet has
Not Google engineers, one single guy who worked at Google who didn't understand what a chatbot is.
escaped the lab. What might be happening here? Seems like the video guys on vacation. Oh, that's when they announced Hillary's death on live television. Here we go.
What?
Endless clones glitching
Clinton's on the bingo card.
on the television throughout American history. This is fairly recent, as far as we can tell.
Let's just take a real quick look at the bingo card. I'm trying to stay on top of it so we're not having to take so much time when we're on it. And I know we're already getting a bunch. Oh boy. Did he say... No, he said fluoridization. Believe sci-fi... No, because that's covered by clones. Clinton's... Let's say predictive programming, because the mention of the Matrix and everything. Sci-fi tech for intelligent AI. Yeah, you're correct. Believe sci-fi tech actually exists. $5G. Jesus. Fluoride. Oh my god, that's a lot of shit. How have you not gotten a single one? Unlucky today, I guess. Was reptoids mentioned for sure? Okay. 76 and 91. Clones. And doesn't understand the Matrix trans metaphor. Whew! That's a lot. And we're 2 minutes into this video.
But there's something going on, and everybody wants to know. Oh, the video guy's fired. Fire the video guy. Skynet is somehow interfering in our studios.
What?
It's like Westworld. We've been going through relentless attacks for the last 2 years, from Death Tower.
Wait. I know how to solve this one. We just have to ask the real Slim Shady to stand up. I heard this somewhere.
And other technologies. There she is again. Something is exterminating humanity. They're spraying us like bugs. You got to put all of this together, ladies and gentlemen. It's worse than a pandemic. It's worse than the World Economic Forum. They're everywhere. And so a lot of people want to pretend like this isn't happening. Oh, it's something else. It's not what you think. There's bots everywhere on the internet. Every website is like submit, surrender.
Every website be like, don't say racial slurs on this website. I'm guessing that's more his issue.
Let us lock you down. Let us starve you into extinction. It's coming. They're burning down the food processing plants.
They're not. Rachology says, actually, this guy might be onto something. As evidence, I present this clip of our new Prime Minister being very normal.
Humility, and I will work day in, day out to deliver for the British people.
Oh, God! What the fuck?
Absolutely bizarre. I would say...
Wow. Where were we?
They're saying far.
Lily Love Stuff says, I space out and stare into space constantly. Does that mean I'm a clone? Yes, that or ADHD. Definitely one of the two. Discordant Vol says, you know that flour makes an explosive when dispersed in the air, right? I did know that. That's why, like, silos and stuff with different very dry materials also have that issue. That's why you have to be very careful around them. You can explode grain silos and stuff doing that.
Farming should be illegal now because of the cows. They obviously want to kill everyone. And they're trying to do it in a way that doesn't raise too much suspicion. They don't want people being concerned. Look at these cyborgs blinking at 100 times a second.
Again, I feel like part of the issue here is that these guys haven't worn fake eyelashes. Avant Gardener says, and breweries too. Lily Love Stuff says Snipe and becomes the stream boss.
It's clones everywhere glitching.
Like, if it's windy out and you're wearing big, long, fake eyelashes, they're gonna be fluttery, and it's gonna...
On the internet. It's Westworld. It's Skynet.
Is Jim Carrey Skynet?
Trying to
I hate to break the news to anyone, but Jim Carrey is anti-vax.
communicate with the video guy because it's just not happening today. But it's important to talk about this example once again.
I think it started when he
Big breaking
dated...
news.
I think he and Jenny McCarthy dated, like, in the early 2000s or something. And she was anti-vax and turned him on to it.
Internet is on fire. Katy Perry just glitching on live television. People want to say,
Pretzel says, I know what's happening, sir. You need psychological help. Yeah.
oh, it's not what you think. It's certainly not the vaccine. She's totally human.
She is. She is
You
human.
know, when you zoom in, it's even worse. And she has this look like it's over.
She has a look like she's trying to do a performance, and her eyelash glue is all fucky.
She knows she can't hide it anymore. And millions of people are suffering right now because of the Pfizer, because of the World Economic Forum, because of Bill Gates. And they're not even trying to make up for it. They don't even care that these people are suffering. They don't care that millions of people have died from this vaccine and this pandemic.
They have not. There is no evidence of any sort. Please get vaccinated. We're actually going to be making appointments here soon for Baja and I both to get a booster for this year. And then a little bit later, I'm going to do a flu shot for the year. So get vaccinated, please. Lily Love Stuff says, oh, fun fact about that costume Katy Perry has on the tits can store beverages, and that's genius. Discordant Vol says, that's capitalism, my guy.
They don't care. They don't even pretend to care.
Is he going to say anything new? If not, I'm going to move on. This guy tends to make a 5-minute video into a 25-minute video and just repeat himself. Silk Monkey with 50 bits says, this guy sounds like Jeremy the Quartering. What a low IQ chump.
They're just like, it's an emergency. We need World War III. Anything, just let's not talk about the evidence. Let's not talk about what's going on. Have you ever noticed that with these people on television? They never fess up for what they've done. They never take responsibility.
Sorry, Rageology said...
They always pretend like it never...
Off topic, but I wanted to share the most important recent UK political statistics. Liz Truss was the first Prime Minister in 60 years not to have been in office long enough to see the premiere of a new Doctor Who. Unstable times indeed. Sky Comet says, booster tomorrow? What's tomorrow? Wednesday? Sounds good. No millions haven't died from the vaccine, but over 1 million have died from COVID, most because they were too stupid to get vaccinated.
happened.
Would I get one of the robot dogs? What could it do? Depends on what it did, I guess. Like, just for fun? No. Seems like a lot of maintenance that I would have to pay someone else to do because it's highly, you know... and high engineering in complexity, or whatever. First name bunch of numbers says, nobody ever admits they're part of the conspiracy. It must be part of the conspiracy.
And ever since 9/11, we've been watching the
9/11 out of nowhere on the bingo card.
world just go upside down. Everybody knows there's something terribly wrong with the world around us. The question is, what are we going to do about it?
Okay, that's enough of this, dude. Let's take a look at the bingo card one more time before we move on. Chemtrails, Gitara says, these dudes are always like, they want to kill us all, but never can explain why. Why would the secret Shadow Cabal want to destroy humanity? What would they gain from that? It makes no sense, because you still need, like, in your totalitarian evil state, you need people to work for you. You know what I mean? Doesn't make any sense. '94, that was the one that just happened. And we're caught up. Cool. What else we got?
The sun's white and it's 2.8 a.m. Goes around on a 24-hour clock with a dark shadow. Imagine that being the Earth. Well, that's the Earth, and then you got like that light.
I want
and
this
the
guy to
moon
yodel
flat
again. MH Darkbeast says the Snyderverse bros and man babies are gonna have a fit about this, and I can't wait to savor their tears. James Gunn and Peter Safran to lead DC Studios. Okay, that's probably a good call. I don't know who Peter Safran is, but I do know James Gunn. If it means we'll get decent DC movies, that's cool, I guess. I still don't have a lot of hope, but, you know. Discordant Vol says, satisfaction, money, orgone energy, it makes them horny. The list goes on. What?
The world up there, because Earth's been known as the centre of the universe. You see, we're not going to get out of this little planet that we're on with this dome over us. No. You got to get through the stargates down at the ice gates down at New Zealand. They melt between September and December. But make sure you be careful about NASA's machine guns. They'll shoot you dead in the little ice galley. And if they miss, they'll chase you down with a Black Hawk helicopter. Military will grab hold of you and you'll go missing and never be seen again. Well, this history. That's what you learn. This ball like that. We've got our cities here. We've got another city up here. Skyscrapers are pointing out this way, all right? Because we're on a ball, remember, spinning. So that means our skyscrapers are out here.
There's no skyscraper in the world that's as tall as that lighter. Not even close to it. Not half, not a quarter, not an eighth, not a 16th. You have no idea how big the Earth is if you think that lighter is a fair representation of a skyscraper in terms of scale.
Like that. But when we look out a window, we're looking upright across the horizon. So if we're like that, well, they reckon the invisible gravity is what holds us there. Well, why didn't it just hold the lighter when I let go of it?
Because the force of gravity attracting it to the center of the Earth is much greater than that of the force of gravity attracting it to the globe, because the Earth has a greater mass by orders of magnitude than that globe in your hand. You're literally showing exactly why gravity works, and you don't even know that's what you're doing.
But it hasn't.
This looks like the kind of Aussie that would do this.
That's not a knife.
This is a knife.
That's a knife.
My car hasn't fallen off the rock. The train didn't fall off. I haven't fallen off. My iced coffee didn't even move because it's sitting flat. Because I put the lighter on the side of the rock, it fell when I let go, same as the wall. It fell.
Yeah, what did it fall into? It fell into the real version of the thing you're holding.
And people think we're on a spinning ball.
Yeah.
Because of the invisible gravity's holding us here. Well, why didn't the invisible gravity hold the lighter to the side of the ball then? When I let go, it drops. Because I know I'm hanging on the side of the wall like this, looking out into space. Why haven't I dropped? It's because the Earth is flat. The same as the coffee is sitting flat. See?
Tucker White says, how close do you think the nearest meth lab is to the sky? And Discordant Vol says, you can't. No, because there's no down in space. No, stop.
Flat. And when I have a shower, all the water rolls off my head because it's round, like this bowl. It's round. It all comes down and goes to the bottom of the floor. This bowl like that, we've got our city.
That's all brilliant, sir. Thank you. I appreciate you sharing this with us. Auntie Pretzel says, said it before, saying again, you would not believe how impossibly tiny you are compared to the planet. You are but a subatomic particle amidst the sheer vastness of everything. To the greater universe past our atmosphere, you're so endlessly small you do not matter to anyone beyond what's immediately in your immeasurably small space. The planet is big. That's a good way to put it.
This is a story about my last ayahuasca ceremony.
Oh, this is gonna be great. Avant Gardner says if the Earth is flat and he's Australian and gravity isn't real, he'd fall off there on the bottom.
I believe this story is meaningful for a lot of us in many ways, and so that's why I'm called to share it with you today. Now, jumping right into the first ceremony, about an hour after drinking the first cup, I had not seen anything so far, but I began to feel this discomfort in my belly. It grew from discomfort.
It's almost like you ate poison.
Into painful.
And hey, if you want to recreationally eat poison, that's your business. I'm just saying.
And soon, there I am, writhing in agony. And I'm not receiving any clarity on what's going on. I'm just in a lot of pain. The spirit of Mother Ayahuasca, who is the spirit of the earth, was with us that night and saw that I needed help, sending one of the shaman helpers to come and see me. This was an amazing man, and he brought his magic in full, using prayers, blessings, and lotions to help. But when he was done, the pain had not departed. He then told me that he learned he was not strong enough to solve this for me, and I had to pray to God. And so I prayed to God with all my heart. After maybe 10 minutes, God's representative appeared. He was like the harbinger of the supreme creative power, appearing as a mega ultimate super being who I understood to be the sun god, Ra.
Sir, you're on drugs. I hope you had a fun time on drugs. I have no issue with you doing hallucinogenic drugs. I don't care. I'm not your mom. I'm not going to tell you what to do. You're an adult. But please stop believing your drug trips are real. They're not. I'm not even saying you can't learn some lesson or take something out of a drug trip. That's certainly possible as long as it's tempered by the rationality of sober you, and you put it in perspective of what it is, something you thought of on a drug trip or whatever. But you are on fucking drugs. You are not seeing gods or monsters or angels or goblins. You are a human being that is high on drugs.
Complete with anime-like super armor. I mean, if there was ever an anime-level sun god in existence, this was him.
I'm sorry, did you just say anime-level sun god?
And now suddenly we're in a big Hollywood movie. Gosh, I hope the action scenes are good. The Super Titan Ra then sends this
Ra is Scorpion.
gigantic chain whip straight into my belly, which latches onto something. And this freaking hulk of a god starts drawing out something incredibly dark and incredibly evil. As a point of credit to the weight of the psychic attack anchor, even with all of his power, it took Ra a long time to pull it out. And so as I'm watching it being pulled...
Caption this image. Rageology says, appearing as a mega ultimate spirit, or you took drugs and just watched the first Thor movie.
...pulled from me, the more I begin to...
Cloud Wizard says, someone say something about those lips. Overthought says, he shit the bed, didn't he? Gnome Pickles says, so in his drug trip he became an anime main character. I've seen worse pilots.
...understand what is happening. You see, this was not just any ordinary psychic attack anchor created by your average spirit or malevolent wizard, but a particular psychic...
Malevolent wizards? Discordant Vole says, I then shat without mercy or ceasing.
...attack anchor put inside me by the deep state.
Deep state on the bingo card! I gotta get water real quick. I'm sorry, my throat's really dry and it's making it hard to maintain my voice. So I'm gonna grab some water real quick. It'll just take me a sec. Ah! If I can untangle my headphones. There we go. Be right back. Okay.
...to stop me from becoming an ascended master. And it
the deep state seeded me so I couldn't become an ascended master. Free D&D backstory for any fledgling monks, I guess. Discordant Vole says this psychic anchor was sponsored by Bad Dragon.
It was a serious piece of...
Ooh, deep state. It sure would be a shame if you... I regret everything. Discordant Vole says Rosicrucians.
...work. Angels told me it was one of the most ultimate... super weapons known in the astral universe. The way it worked was this. This anchor was entirely invisible and undetectable to me, and would supply my mind with exactly the right ingredients for a healthy mindset of self-loathing, feeding me thoughts and actions with the intention of having me completely ruin my own life for me. So anyway, I'm starting to understand this, and eventually...
Sir, you're high. Tube Man with 27 months says, what did I just walk in on? Was that the Soul Butt Plug? Yes. Stream baby name. Soul Butt Plug. Lily Love Stuff says, this one is a creative way to animate a massive shit. Fenekagami says, wow, spirit science has really lost it, hasn't he? Also, we get it. You want to start your own Iseki, my blue dude? Gitara says, southern accent, spirit of earth, harbinger of God, Ra the sun god, anime level super armor, psychic attack anchors, malevolent wizards, ascended masters, the deep state. Look, son, I don't know anything about all that, but have you heard the good word of our main man, Paul?
Eventually, Ra gets this thing out of my belly, and I watch as he hurls it into the surface of the sun. Then he takes this gigantic megaton hammer and begins smashing it over and over and over against the surface of the sun with all of the strength of heaven. And this goes on for some time. If you were to see the whole thing in fast motion, it would probably look like... Seriously, it made Sauron's Ring of Power seem like that thing was made out of salt in comparison. After about an hour and a half, the anchor cracked and it began to dissolve into the sun. And while I felt better, something was still off. And the next day of ceremony, it was revealed to me that this anchor had a trap built in. If ever it was removed from my body, it would eject a part of itself that was more like a liquid than the solid form of the anchor, a black goo, if you will, and continue to manipulate me from the inside. I spent 2...
At what point does this just become genuine mental illness? Gnome Pickle says, okay, that's super cool, my fine blue fellow, but sir, I only asked you if you wanted a drink with your order.
2 days fighting this thing like the Venom symbiote, except this one didn't have a sense of humor.
Like a turd in the wind.
And in this battle, I saw where this thing had come from. I had been targeted all the way back in 2012, on a night that I accidentally ate too much of a cannabis edible, which was very concentrated.
Yeah, you weren't targeted, you were high. Stop thinking you're on adventures when you're high. My God. Eat half or a third, take a bite, and then gauge it out. Come on. Auntie Pretzel says, yeah, you saw all that and I punched Molig Ball so hard he gave my soul back. What's your point with your drug trip? Rachology says, all that I got for my shroom days was I got better appreciation of trees. Trees are rad.
So I ended up getting very paranoid that night, and I passed out in one of those basements that only had concrete and pipes all over the place. It was very freaky. And when I finally woke up, it was 2 days later. It was in that void space that the anchor was planted. So I'm there in ceremony, evicting venom from my body in every meaning of the phrase, and I'm beginning to get this understanding. Through me, this anchor wreaked havoc on my life. There were times where I published videos that I really shouldn't have. I got myself into partnerships, personally and professionally, that were unhealthy or even dangerous to be a part of.
And now you don't have to take culpability for any of it. You just get to say that the deep state implanted you with a no-no virus. Now that it's gone, you could be the perfect person you always were. Rublin with 100 bits says, so how be Hannah and chat? Just had a fight with my sister over politics don't matter because both sides lie. Frustrating since one side is actually in the year of Our Lady Lupine 2022 trying to bring back sodomy laws. Discordant Vol says it takes 2 full days for the deep state to get that thing inside me. Took 2.
And said things about myself that were not true and caused...
The deep state brings a lot of lube.
So much damage, leading to a lot of bad energy swirling around me and building up some serious karmic debt. But you see, under the surface of what actually was seen by the public, I created for myself these situations where I would continually screw myself over and over, costing money, time, and the respect of the people around me and those who had been enjoying my content. I listened to mentors and guidance that really wasn't wise for me to listen to. I trusted people who only wanted to be around me for money, and through my own ignorance, I beat myself down with a kind of mental self-flagellation as if it was my default mode of thinking. And sometimes that even made its way through my mind and reached me physically. In times of great stress, during this time when the anchor was in me, I would turn on myself in full blame mode and just punch myself in the face repeatedly.
What?
And I know that you might be watching and thinking, bro, you need
Does he have a trepanation scar? That would explain it.
some help. And yeah, I really, really did. But the biggest help I ever got was going to Rhythmia enough times to be able to release myself from this evil thing once and for all. After all 4 days of ceremony, at last, the last of it was gone. My soul could breathe again, but there were a few more giant messes to clean up. The one inside myself and the one outside myself.
Does this person have a large following? 1.25 million subscribers? Chitara says, whoa, wait a second. Is Jordan seriously trying to blame everything he's done in the past on a symbiote? Because I followed this guy since he started making videos and he got involved with and did a lot of bad stuff. Yes. Yes, he is. Logarth says, who among us hasn't found ourselves punching ourselves in the face?
Which of course reflected each other. You see, all of the self-negative habits and thought patterns were left behind, in the same way that if you make an anthill and then evict the ants, the pathways still remain. I still lived with certain habits and ways of thinking about myself until I finally reached a point where my soul transcended, and I started actively rewriting all of them more consciously and making significantly better choices. And though, part of the reason that led to the making of this video was this. In addition to the internal mess, there has been an external mess left
Mr. Whiskers says, and for the low price of 1,000, you can go to Rhythmia too.
behind from all of this in the collective consciousness fields. In the past few months, I've been facing all of this. I really faced the wrath of God, with experiences of serious heaven fire raining down upon me from the fury of the Lord, for not representing the light of a higher consciousness on earth as it is in heaven, and even using myself as a visible punching bag in the world, giving people ideas about me that were rooted in self-sabotage. But then, God was also merciful upon me. He saw what had happened and had mercy on me in the truth that I myself wasn't wicked, but there was evil afoot, and now it had been destroyed. And
Yeah, he just doesn't think anything he's ever done wrong is his fault. Wow, that's some bold, narcissistic shit right there. Tea Time says, oh no, Ross and Carrie did a very long expose on Rhythmia. It was terrifying and fascinating, but basically they put people in unsafe situations and didn't have real medical care in place. Yikes.
what's more, I wanted to do whatever I could to clean up all of the messes that I've played a part
Chromatic Cuttlefish says, is this still Ra the Sun Hammer God? I have questions.
in making. I see now how this psychic attack anchor really got the better of me. And speaking to that for just a moment, I want to be very clear. It's not my intention to play the victim card or obfuscate responsibility in any way.
Feels like it is. Logarth says, holy shit, this is an anime. He just did a recap episode.
I really know that regardless of what damage was caused through me, I'm responsible to clean it up. A big part of cleaning it up is telling you this story, because it's not just my story. And in my heart, I received, you must surely tell this story, lest it only be meaningful to you.
Oh my god, fuck off so hard. Discordant Vol says, I've eaten stuff that didn't agree with me too, but this guy must have committed a war crime in that bed.
In the past many years, I've had a lot of people
Spirit butt plug in the DMs. I need to show the other ones too. After this video, I'll show the drawings you've done so far.
come and ask me about psychic attacks. And I
I don't know if the last one will be TOS. We'll all have to check.
never knew what to say before. Maybe this story exists so that we can start to take the conversation seriously, as a collective. Because I didn't really used to. I didn't understand the gravity of it. And now, wow. I mean, I've seen some things, man. And there's an undercurrent to human consciousness that needs both love, healing, and the purifying fires of the supreme divinity. So definitely we'll make more videos about this in the future. But for this moment, I think just sharing this story and holding a space of understanding, healing, and forgiveness with you is where I'm called to begin. I stand for truth, love, and authenticity, and from henceforth I always will.
What are the comments like? They're very positive of him. I'm assuming he's purging comments. Could be wrong though.
I love you so much. Thank you for watching.
let's sort by new. Yeah, they're all people who are positive of him. Jesus. Alright, let me change the camera for a second while I pull up the artwork that Occult Comics did. Bro, you need the fires of supreme divinity? Sure, you can borrow my lighter. Radiology says, what's a sideways tosser? I have no idea. This is Zem Lamar. That's a shirt that says, butt stuff is cool. And the caption says, look, I don't know who the fuck Rem Lazar is. This is the best I could do. Enjoy. That was the sun being a thief. The sun is coming from inside the house. And spirit butt plug. Good stuff.
Wondering what's going on with Ukraine right now? Follow along with me for a minute. Karl Marx created the foundation of what is happening in Ukraine today. His real name was Karl Heinrich Mordecai Marx. Father of Karl Marx was Herschel Mordecai, who was the son of Rabbi Mordecai Marx Levi, who was the son of Samuel ben Mordecai Ha Levi.
Radiology says, no, he is a sideways tosser, though I might up that to sideways C-U-N-T. Am I allowed to say that on Twitch? I don't know.
Who was the son of Laius ben Mordecai.
Everything I don't like is communism and overt anti-Semitism on the bingo card.
Who, in the 1400s, Laius Mordecai changed his name from Mordecai to Schwab. So the Schwab bloodline today is the bloodline of Karl Marx. But wait, there's more. Laius ben Mordecai Schwab was the son of Samuel Leopold Schwab II, who had changed his name from Guntberger to Schwab in the 1500s. And he was the son of Samuel Guntberger, who changed his name from Bauer to Guntberger. And the Bauer bloodline was originally named the Bacharachs during the time of Christ. The Bacharachs in 1501 changed their name to Bauer, and then 76 years later, in 1577, they changed their name to Rothschild. So they're all related. You guys have to go check out this video of Bishop Larry Gators talking about Russia, Ukraine, the CIA, and the Rothschild conspiracy to take out Vladimir Putin. It is absolutely just... If you're one...
Yep, over anti-Semitism on the bingo card. What else we got?
Make sure to share this video with family and friends, like and subscribe.
Post will be free to watch. That's very important for you to know. The other thing is we're getting an awful lot of
shilling for shilling for gold, silver, whatever on the bingo card.
People asking us about gold and silver, and I've always been an advocate of gold and silver. And myself, I'm not in a position to give financial advice. I'm not qualified to do so. I'm just going to tell you what I've personally done. I've personally bought gold and silver, and I've used a company that I trust.
Gee, I wonder how gold has been doing. Dun, 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 dun. Over 10 years. Wait a minute. It's down over the last year. Are you telling me gold isn't a great investment necessarily over the long term compared to government bonds, etc.?
Which is shown below here. They've always looked after me well. And if you order from them more than £250 worth, you get a free 1 ounce silver coin, which is very, very nice. It's a nice little gift. But this is not an endorsement. This is just what I have done personally, and it's up to you. It's your choice. As I said, I'm not qualified to give the advice or financial advice, but it's just what I have done personally. And I hope you enjoy it. And I hope you enjoy watching all of my videos. Thank you.
The spot about advertising, it's a whole thing. Like, you know, hey guys, just here to talk to you about whatever. Rachology says mid-2010s, parp of drama. Cyper, thanks for following. Hydrate. Is this a 2000s action movie trailer? Seems like it. Can we skip to the actual content, please?
This is Maria Bernardis here. I'm the founder of Greekalicious. I'm a health and wellness coach, a chef, and a Gourmand award-winning cookbook author. So today I'm coming to you with a very exciting brief video that I will briefly discuss.
Gold appeals to people who hate banks. I'm aware.
The quantum med beds.
I know about like gold bugs and what they're into.
Or light capsules as they're called. And then there will be a more detailed video following that will go into these exciting new technologies, or should I say, not so new, they were just hidden from us technologies. And it will go into basically a lot of the amazing things that they will heal, so various ailments and illnesses. So these quantum healing beds or med beds or light capsules all mean the same thing, are basically based on energy. For those that don't know, energy is an ancient Greek word, energia. And in ancient Greece, healing was based on energy, vibration, and frequency. So I am very excited about this because this is the type of healing that I adopt in my health and wellness practice. It is also the healing wisdom, which I also discuss in my books and in my courses.
Med beds aren't just a Peter thing. Oh, no.
Heal. So in ancient Greece, healing was all about a high
They're
vibrational
a general conspiracy
mind,
thing.
high vibrational spirit, and of course eating high vibrational food. So I do have all this sort of covered in my books, and I also have it covered in my comprehensive workshop and course that you can find on my website. And I'll have the details of my website also in
Discordant Vul says it was based on sacrificing a chicken to
so basically,
P.S. What's your point?
Please also note that there are other energy type possible. You don't,
this lady's terrible.
Alright, welcome. I just finished this. Alrighty. I want to talk about med beds. I've had a few queries regarding the use of the jabs.
Overthought says, energy, frequency, and vibrations aren't mysterious woo, they're physics for F's sake. This hurts my soul. Tea with Goblin says, happily munching on a Hitachi. Vibrational foods.
And the med beds rectifying or reversing the damage. Okay. Now, I have used a med bed as one of the practitioners. And
oh my god, this lady she must just be grifting people. Oh no. Yikerinos. Tea with Goblins, nope, read that. Rachiology says, I think we need to bring back the concept of the lifelong spiritual retreat so these people can self-isolate somewhere in a nice convent with a lovely garden and not spread the nonsense. MH Dark Beast says, medbeds, you know what that summons with this clip.
I don't know what you call it. My poop comes out of my butthole or in there.
I want that to be my new text notification. So I'm just in public and it's gonna ding and it's gonna go, my poop comes out of my butthole.
I don't know what you call it.
Where were we? Over here somewhere.
Had the med bed used on myself. Okay, so I'm pretty well educated in the use of med beds. Okay, many people won't believe me. That's absolutely fine. Your belief is your choice, so it's totally up to you.
Umatsa, thanks for 12 months, 1 whole year. Whoop! Happy anniversary.
However, from my learning of the med beds and my training, what happens, let me start again. So when these med beds are rolled out to public use in the healing clinics, okay, so not hospitals but healing clinics, what happens, right, from the place that I'm going to be working, what will happen is you will be called in, you'll make an appointment, okay, to have a DNA sample taken. Okay, so you'll come into the clinic, we'll take your DNA, a sample of your DNA, and then what will happen is in the laboratory, they will do all their tests on it to make sure it's clean, it's viable. They will remove any genetic abnormalities or like cancer and other diseases and things like that. Now, depending on what you're having done, this is what will happen. So you come in 2 weeks before, you have a DNA sample, the laboratory prepares the sample, then you book your appointment to actually have the medbed procedure done. Okay? Now, medbeds can be used for...
Tea with Goblin says, the medbed thing has gotten, quote, quite popular amongst Australian cookers. We had a really high rate of vaccination, and now that things are going back to normal, and this lot are looking for a new thing to grift about, they're turning to the idea that those of us who are jabbed will soon be dropping dead, so they're now trying to claim that they, and they alone, have the cure. Rachology says walking into the medbed building and asking them to fix the missing bit on one of my
They were using a
chromes.
special type of Teslatron unit
Hydrate.
where we would take a watch in with us in this small hexagon room and spend, supposedly 55 minutes in there. It actually detoxes you and teletransports toxins out of your body. Sometimes people lose up to 15 pounds in these trips that they go in there.
In one sitting?
In one sitting, in 55 minutes. And I always asked, well, where does that go? Because I still have the same hydration when they did the blood test, and I'm not dehydrated, but yet all the horrible negative ionic bacteria, viruses, and metals in my body were taken out.
What was that jumble
I
of
still have
words?
the same hydration when they did the blood test, and I'm not dehydrated, but yet all the horrible negative ionic bacteria, viruses.
Horrible negative ionic bacteria. Sackmat the Wise, thanks for 55 bits. Occult Comics says, I'm not shilling for Netflix, but this is legit what I picture Hannah's off days to be like. I still haven't seen that show. Sackmat the Wise said, Snipe becomes stream boss. Sorry, I lost our place. Where was that?
Viruses and metals in my body were taken out. So people that are really toxic that go in there, you know, really a lot of the
come
stuff
back
gets,
healthy.
Right, they come back very healthy. It's used to treat cancers for the elites of the world, even our presidents.
It's not. Wealthy people die of cancer all the time. Discordant Vol says, walks into the medbed facility and looks for the transformation program.
Machine looks like, Emery?
It's a hexagon room, and inside the hexagon room is a glass wall. The hexagon room is only about 8 feet in diameter, so you know.
So
it can only fit a small massage table that's in there. And 3 feet beyond the massage table is a 3-inch glass or plexiglass wall, and behind that is this giant Teslatron unit. And it amps up this amazing electromagnetic frequency where it rips time and space apart.
Replicators, there would be no starvation. You can use a replicator and replicate some silver or gold, or replicate yourself a $100 bill. If it makes
Do these people not understand the concept of inflation? If you had a replicator and everyone had replicators, then money would be useless.
you feel comfortable and put it in your pocket. There would be absolutely no need for any type of financial give or take.
I would think that the typical old school politician mentality would be that if you gave everybody on earth this kind of stuff, that they would all just want to drink beer and nobody would want to do anything and they'd just be hanging around and it would kill them, it would ruin their lives.
Well, there's going to be a transitional period where people are going to go, you know, probably a little bit nuts for a while with the technology.
Sky Comet says, can it give me back my wings? God ripped them off when he tossed me out of heaven.
I mean, when people win the lottery, right?
Right.
It's not good for them.
Well, right. Well, if everybody wins the lottery at once, you know, everybody has a replicator. Everybody's going to be pushing the button every day, you know, and trying, you know, all these different meals.
Computer, 1 slice of New York cheesecake. This is an old Earth delicacy.
How do I know you're not trying to poison me?
Please.
Basically, the design is a conventional generator.
So, tapped into zero-point energy.
MH Dark Beast says, Inside Job is good, but Dead End Paranormal Park is a show you need to check out also. So great to see a trans character presented in a positive way in cartoons. Sorry, I gotta push the awesome once again.
The only person that I know of who has ever succeeded in making a Searle effect generator is John Searle. The electron flow is accelerated to an extremely high rate, and it creates a vacuum around the device. And in that vacuum, you develop numbing cold. And numbing cold, as we know today, is a function of superconductivity. It also is a function of gravitational force.
For over 60 years, John Searle has tried to give to the world a new kind of energy system, one that would free mankind from the burdens of oil and fossil fuels. John Searle is known all over the world as the inventor of the Searle effect generator, a magnetic device consisting of 1 or more rings, also called plates, and a number of cylindrical rollers that, when in motion, generate electricity.
The generator is a magnetic device that is totally magnetic. It is its own prime mover. It will self-start and continue to run.
Mr. Whiskers says, nice, unrepeatable science.
And as far as we know, we can say never stop.
The looking glass shows
that's not how things work.
Probabilities, or has shown probabilities.
You literally cannot get energy from nowhere. It's a law of physics. Energy can't be created or destroyed. It only changes form.
The cube would...
Bingo, question mark? Lily loves stuff. What? Can I see your card if you think you had bingo?
Would react with the people present. So there was an alteration, if you will, over what you were seeing from it. It would actually spin out as a yellow disc out of the top of it, where the word yellow book originally came from.
Nope.
Actually, I used that to our...
That's not how science works. They literally have to misunderstand the scientific method. The space would be better to say probably doesn't understand the scientific method. So it's not just specific scientific facts. So close, but no.
Or advantage at the T9, because that in fact was present at the T9, and I projected certain information which caused a little upset during the meeting, but I was also allowed to show them probable outcomes. So in fact the yellow book, the cube, was used for that purpose. Shockingly, they happened to see themselves standing on the bones of their own families and things like that in the vision. They were handing this cube around from country to country to the elitists in the countries to look into their own future so that they could pick the best paths for themselves. I'm happy to pass along the information. I'm honored to pass along the information that I understand that the yellow book is no longer accessible. I will say this to everybody, whomever took it, it's in safe hands and it won't be used to harm humanity.
Are we able to know how many man-made stargates there were on the planet?
No. I'm not going to comment as to the total. I will say that there was over 50.
Well, that's what? Don't say you're not going to comment on it if you're just going to make up a thing. There's over 50. There's over 50 stargates.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. In different countries of the world?
Yes.
Okay, and these are man-made?
Yes.
Okay, so, and natural stargates?
Well, see, it's not a stargate. It's a device which accesses.
Okay.
Which accesses a portal, a wormhole, or
That's a stargate.
Natural, in other words, the man-made device accesses a natural stargate.
It draws off from a natural ERB, an Einstein-Rosen bridge.
Okay.
It accesses it and somehow works, from what I understand, not in parallel, but almost like piggybacks on the energy of the natural stargate. Yeah.
Okay. So, in other words, if there were 50 man-made devices accessing, they would be accessing a corresponding 50 natural energy vortexes.
That I don't know. There's a possibility, in fact, that when the looking glass was operated, they were usually worked in tandem. It required a second looking glass to be turned on at the same time to get acoustics through. So unless a second one was turned on, which was operated at one of the places where Will Uhouse had been, he saw the second node location, as opposed to the first node being over at the Papoose facility. Two pieces of equipment, two looking glasses, were required to be turned on at the same time to be able to hear acoustics or sound, if you will, from whatever the people were watching, but to go to piggyback in tandem with the visual response to the equipment.
Word salad. Logarth says, imagine a machine that could take heat out of the atmosphere and store it geothermally for later. Gitara says, this guy has the tone of voice like he's going, Jesus Christ, don't ask me about the unproven claims. Sekhmet the Wise says, he explains this concept the same way my grandpop tried to explain the internet to me, incorrectly. And Jordan Peterson cleansed the timeline with true, non-edited, or changed it anyway story of his life. Oh, God.
I live in.
That's loud.
Inside this cube, suspended about 2 feet off the ground. There's no escaping it. I'm not in the room. I shifted to the Harry Potter dimension. I'm playing Quidditch with Michelangelo on the Starship Enterprise, and I'm whipping out my little balls to get sucked off by your mother. I've had sex with your mother 50 times. All of those 50 times your mother topped, and I was the bottom. You're shaking. You're sitting here doing nothing in pure stupidity. And while you're doing so, I'm going to go jerk off in the library.
Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, I'm moving on from the Stargate guy.
Equipment that is
to move. Well, that isn't.
In popular culture, we've all seen countless images of the Satan, and usually we see him ruling the fires of hell from the underworld. We see pitchforks and horns. But what does the Bible actually say about the Satan? What does it say about his location and his tactics? What does it say about his crew, the fallen angels and the demonic entities? Well, it's time to explore in detail what the Bible says about all of this and more. Stay tuned.
Radiology says these stargates sound rubbish, especially when you consider when Doctor invented the Time Special Visualizer, it did both picture and sound, and you could use it to watch the Beatles.
With inaccurate and fanciful ideas when it comes to spiritual concepts. For instance, many of us grew up with this idea that God is some giant with a long beard who sits on a cloud somewhere. And such ideas make it harder to believe in God. But when you actually
I don't think that's the part that doesn't do it for me.
read the Bible for yourself, we see that it says God is spirit.
That clears it up. Sorry, wrong video.
And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
The Satan and his crew, new band. Sky Comet says, Fallen Angel, is he gonna badmouth us? Watch your mouth or I'll curse you so your feet are itchy for 15 years. That doesn't sound fun.
Good evening, everyone.
Discordant Vol says, look, we've gotten better at fighting since the Old Testament. I just want to see an angel square off against HIMARS. I bet it goes differently this time around. I don't know what that means.
To do a really quick follow-up video on who cut down the trees, because finally today, after months and months and months of trying to find these, I was able to get access to the Dead Sea Scrolls. So we're going to show that to you really quick and show you guys who cut down the trees. Check it out.
Now, when I made part one of that video, the only scripture I had to go by was Daniel 4:9, which goes like this.
I saw in the visions of my head upon my bed, and behold, a watcher and an holy one came down from heaven. He cried aloud and said thus, hew down the tree and cut off his branches, shake off his leaves and scatter his fruit. Let the beasts get away from under it, and the fowls from his branches. Nevertheless, leave the stump of his roots in the earth, even with a band of iron and brass in the tender grass of the field. And let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts in the grass of the earth.
Yeah, he thinks mountains are giant trees that used to exist. I should have clarified for people who weren't familiar with this conspiracy theory. He believes that mountains are trees. Mr. Whiskers says, got access to the Dead Sea Scrolls by way of a YouTube video. How else would you get them?
Okay, here we have the scripture from the Dead Sea Scroll version. Okay, now, in the Dead Sea text entitled The Book of Giants, the Nephilim, sons of the fallen angel, Shemyaza, named Aya and Oya, experience dream visions in which they visit a world garden and see 200 trees being felled by heavenly angels. Felled means cut down.
Tea with Goblins says, I prefer Afrofuturist author Octavia Butler's account of God. The God of Earthseed is not a person. The God of Earthseed does not love us or hate us or watch over us or know us at all. The God of Earthseed just is. God is change.
Not understand.
Seems a bit vague to me.
Understanding the purpose of this allegory, they put the subject to the Nephilim Council, who appoint one of their number, Mohawi, to go on their behalf to consult Enoch, who now resides in an earthly paradise. To this end, Mohawi then rose up into the air like the whirlwinds and flew with the help of his hands like winged eagle over the cultivated lands and crossed Solitude, the giant desert, and he caught sight of Enoch, and he called to him.
Giants on bingo, yes.
Enoch explains that the 200 trees represent the 200 watchers. Okay, now, so you understand that, let's go back to the book of Enoch, okay? And right here it says, and it came to pass when the children of men had multiplied that in those days were born unto them beautiful and comely daughters. And the angels, the children of heaven, saw and lusted after them and said to one another, come, let us choose us wives from among the children of men and beget us children. So anyways, they all get together on this mountain, and as you can see here, then swear they all together and bound themselves by
Bible is the only source of wisdom on the bingo card. Discordant Vul says, so he flapped his hands. What would you do?
mutual imprecations upon it. And they were in all 200 who descended in the days of Jared on the summit of Mount Hermon. Okay, now let's go back over
Hydrate.
to the Dead Sea Scrolls. Okay, as you can see here, Enoch explains that the 200 trees represent the 200 watchers. Remember, the 200 watchers were originally angels. They were 200 fallen angels. Okay, they were to watch over the earthly beings, but they decided to come down and mate with the earthly women, which is what caused the Nephilim. Okay, so while the felling of their trunks signified their destruction in a coming conflagration and deluge, that means the flood was coming. That's why these angels were sent down to cut down the trees. Okay, and just like I showed you in Enoch 66:2, you know, God sent the angels to work at the trees. So anyway,
now keep in mind that there were 200 trees for the 200 angels.
as you can see here, and the Dead Sea Scrolls, and from the book of Enoch, and from Daniel, from the Holy Bible, the giants did not cut down the trees. God sent angels here to cut down the trees because he was getting ready to flood the earth. And the only thing that would have been big enough to climb those trees to the heavens would have been the giants. So God knew what he was doing when he sent the angels here to cut them down before he even flooded the earth.
And I did explain that that's the way it happened in the first video I made, but now I have the Dead Sea Scrolls to back up that evidence.
Anyways, there's your answer. The angels cut down the trees, just like Scripture says.
Anyways, like I've told you before, it's really, really simple, and you would be surprised how knowledgeable you can become if you're willing to put in the work and the research. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.
He just has a picture of Nikolai Tesla on his wall.
And God bless.
Oh, God. The channel's name is Daily Dose of Red Pill.
NASA isn't.
Does this guy not know what the word represent means? Apparently not. Everett GA, thanks for 6 months, says, ooh woo, oh whoa.
The only space agency. Are all others in on it too?
The answer is yes. Here's a short clip on what you need to know.
Was Paul Bunyan an angel? Yes.
The Vector, NASA's official logo. If you've ever looked at NASA's official logo, both their official insignia and their official seal, you'll see that the most prominent object in the seal is a red swooshing object. They call that the chevron or the vector. If you ask NASA's Public Affairs Office, this symbology is featured so heavily in their insignia and seal, they'll give you what really amounts to the standard facile cover story for the unilluminated. They'll
or it's like a rocket, or the idea of upward motion and design, because they're a space agency. Only reputable sources Bible? Yes. Alec Holland said... Oh, I read that one. Sorry. Yes, they're going to say it's a snake tongue.
That is...
Spurious symbology is evidence.
A representation of a hypersonic wing design from the 1950s, which was the time the logo was created. Not exactly the case. Someone might want to ask the Russian Federal Space Agency, Roscosmos, that was formed in 1992, why they chose that same logo. And while you're at
because they have similar missions.
it, you can go ask the Chinese, who formed their space agency in 1996, why in the world they're using a hypersonic wing design from the 1950s as their official.
Hey, I don't know if you know this, but I'd imagine that the Navy, the different groups within the Navy that have different, like, patches and insignias for different groups probably involve a lot of water and boat motifs. Because they're the Navy.
Logo. Then you can ask the Japanese, the South Koreans, Taiwanese, Malaysia, Mexico, Iran, all of these.
Many of these are different
countries.
But yes, they have similar design aesthetic because they're all designs for space agencies. I could pull up a bunch of fast food logos and point out similarities because it's a certain genre of thing you're advertising or representing. And there is sort of a unspoken language to design. And so when you're making a design for a logo for something, you want it to be representative in some way to the viewer of what the thing represents.
Even Bulgaria. They all utilize the vector symbology in their space agency logos for their national space agencies. It gets even deeper. You can go look at the individual manned program patches for NASA. The Mercury program, for example, a blatant use of covert symbology. In every logo dealing with the Mercury program, you'll see what looks like a number 7 in their logo. And again, NASA's official story is that they put this number 7 there so that they could pay homage to the original 7 Mercury astronauts. Kind of forgetting the fact that only 6 Mercury astronauts actually flew into space because number 7 never did. Deke Slayton had a heart problem, so he didn't get to go up.
Okay, they were still going to be on the mission. Steve with a Q says, come on, we all know the wing thing is a lie. They're clearly all based on Star Trek logos.
So there were only 6 Mercury astronauts, yet there's a 7 in every single logo. That's in the official mission or official program insignia for Mercury, as well as the 6 individual mission patches carry this logo. And it carries on to the Space Shuttle program. If you look at the Apollo logo has a big letter A in it. At least that's what they want you to believe, but it's...
They want you to believe this letter A is a letter A because it's the Apollo program, but don't believe them, that A is not an A.
Not, again, that's just a simple way of explaining away the inclusion of this vector symbology in the logo. If you go to the Space Shuttle program, the original Space Shuttle STS program patch is a triangular patch that, again, hides the use of the chevronic vector symbology. And that also goes for many of the STS-specific mission patches. Every single one of the International Space Station expedition patches carry the vector symbology. The Russian Mir space station used the vector symbology. That was their official logo.
Sir, do you know what rockets look like?
And look at military-industrial complex companies. Look at the logo on a company like Lockheed Martin.
If the 7th had heart issues and couldn't go to space, that's even more reason to honor their preparation and hard work. Yeah.
Vectors. the X Prize logo, Ames Research Labs, U.S. Space Command. When you get into the military realm, the United States Space Command, their official logo is the vector symbol. And when you look at the military's individual space-specific programs, all of them deal with vector symbology in their official insignias. And the question really becomes, who or what are these people paying homage to?
Let's look at NASA's Earthrise. Now let's look at JAXA's Earthrise. Do you believe this is real?
Yes. Yeah. Different photos can look different. Doesn't understand how cameras work on the bingo card. God, what a dumbass.
I actually think, I don't know the best way to put this, but maybe that the Q phenomenon, whoever Q was a Trump campaign psy-op, a Trump insider. Maybe Dan Scavino, the guy who's done such a great job of running President Trump's social media campaigns, to energize his base, to push out information that much of it ultimately came true. Talk about the FISA warrants, the Russian collusion stuff, this Q...
PSYOP on bingo? Yes.
Posts were spot on when it came to most of that stuff.
And citing Q.
Where do you fall with that? You think I'm crazy that I think this is maybe Trump inspired, or who do you think Q really is?
I think you're right on. And when you use the term psyop, that tends to have a negative connotation for a lot of people, because Q has been accused of being a CIA psyop. Right? So we're talking about a psychological operation. If you know anything about military intelligence, they use both positive and negative psychological operations. A psychological operation is just an operation using information to change the way people think. It can be for better or worse. I mean, the first message that Jesus preached was, repent, for the kingdom of God is at hand. Well, that word repent is the word metanoia, two Greek words combined, and it literally means change your way of thinking. All right, Jesus was a psyop from God.
That's certainly a claim.
He came to Earth to change the way we think, right? And you're right. I think that Q is an operation supported by Trump and the military to change the way people think about the mainstream media, about culture, about institutional corruption.
Jesus was a psyop from God is, I think, my new favorite.
I really need an explanation real quick. You can never be too careful. Just watch this real quick.
And it may be hard to see tonight, but we are all standing under a glass ceiling.
Now, as we all know, they like to put messages in movies and TV shows. I don't know if y'all seen this, but in the movie Gods of Egypt,
She said we're under a glass ceiling because, I don't know if you were there, I watched it live when it happened on election night. The building that they rented out for the election day event Hillary Clinton's group was doing had a glass ceiling because of the idiom breaking the glass ceiling, in reference to the first woman to break into a specific title, a specific place of power. That's called breaking the glass ceiling. So they intentionally picked a place for the celebration, air quotes, that had a glass ceiling. Misattribution of coincidence? I don't even know if that's coincidence. She just doesn't know what an idiom is. Hydrate.
Egypt. It was a scene of space and what Earth looked like from space, and it was flat. Even in Thor, they show Asgard to be a flat plate. Now, it is sad, a lot of people say that we live in a dome.
Asgard isn't real.
Y'all remember this woman? Look at what she finna say.
And I can't believe we just put the biggest crack in that glass ceiling yet.
Now, we all know the Simpsons be putting in hidden messages and everything. Now, look at this part. Now, some people say Jesus is holding everything together, but in school, do y'all remember when they taught us about gravity? And they had said the earth was round? So I had asked my teacher, if it's round, why don't people fall off the bottom of the earth? And you know how
gravity!
Water falls down the stream. Gravity don't stop it, it just goes down. Wouldn't
Gravity is the reason it goes downstream.
the earth look like this?
No!
Cause like, how are you holding all the water in place?
Is this bait?
It says gravity is most accurately described by the general theory of relativity proposed by Albert Einstein. Again, the Newtonian theory of gravity is based on assumed forces. If gravity is a theory, can Earth really be a globe? Or does it look something like this? I know you're probably like, is the water gonna fall off the edge? Some people say we're surrounded by ice. You know, like in Game of Thrones, even in Teen Titans too.
Seriously? A butter wall? That's what I said, Lou! There's a big old butter wall. It encircles the entire pancake earth.
It just makes me question, that's all I'm saying. Kinda just makes me feel some type of way because they're showing it and everything. Now it is what it is.
Stupid fucking people. Stone Corbell says, we're just running through every single Flat Earth 101 talking point in 2 minutes.
Do you guys believe that this sun is the real sun that we grew up with? This is a fake fucking sun.
Ooh, that...
The greatest pop star to ever live, Michael Jackson, is still alive, and here is the proof.
Oh, guy. Ah. Chitara says, misrepresenting what the word theory means in science on the bingo card? Yes. MH Darkbeast says, hey Hannah, did you see the news about Doctor Who and Disney? Disney Plus will now carry Doctor Who going forward starting in 2023. Another reason to dump HBO Max. Yeah, it'll get in front of new audiences and young audiences, which is nice. Disney, I know they don't own Doctor Who, it's just a streaming rights thing, but if it's popular, I'm afraid they'll try and buy Doctor Who from the BBC, and depending on who's in charge in the government, they might, and I don't want that. I do not want Disney owning Doctor Who. That would be bad. Tea with Goblin says, can confirm, I'm in the antipodes, and am regrettably unable to float off into the comforting indifference and vastness of space. Fast Lunacy says, Teen Titans Go, that bastion of science and knowledge. Dr. What? Thanks for gifting a sub.
June 25th, 2009, Michael Jackson was publicly announced dead after he suffered cardiac arrest when an ambulance was called to his house because he was unresponsive. He was taken away and later died at the hospital. But someone unknowingly followed that ambulance to the hospital and saw them remove a man with a black sheet over his head from the back of the ambulance to an undisclosed location.
I remember this at the time, it was fake. Logarth says, hear me out, Princess Doctor Who.
Why else would they need to hide his identity? It was confirmed by the license plate that ambulance in that suspicious video was the same one he was taken away in. After pronounced dead, he was taken to the coroner from the hospital via helicopter, but look at his dead body under the sheet! This was the real helicopter he was taken away in, and it looks like his body is still very much moving under the sheet. His birth certificate and his death certificate have different names, as if the death certificate was just made to show the public. People question why his funeral was closed casket if there was nothing wrong with his appearance. His casket's now surrounded by cement. Some say so no fans dig up the body. Others say because
Have you not heard of a vault? If you're buried, you're probably buried in a vault. This isn't even that, this is a mausoleum.
There's nobody in there at all, and they want to make it impossible to find that out. Some say he attended his own funeral because Janet Jackson is looking right at this person who looks just like Michael.
Oh my God.
Before I show the most crazy piece of recent evidence, make sure you follow so you finally know the craziest conspiracy theories about each of these celebrities and request who you want to see.
Fuck that guy.
They've got a new theory that says a lack of oxygen might have killed the dinosaurs. What?
That's just Kent Hovind being Kent Hovind. Discordant Vol says he overdosed on the same stuff that Peterson used to get to avoid barbiturate withdrawals.
The largest mechanism used to implement the New World Order agenda is the worldwide secret society network. Politicians, bankers, businessmen, and media personalities, the biggest names in history and world affairs, form a huge secret society matrix. This hierarchical, pyramid-structured network is constantly recruiting and placing members in key influential positions. In order to orchestrate world events and policy decisions from behind the scenes, many niche secret societies groom and position politicians, media personalities, and other yes-men so they may best aid the great work. As A.E. Waite wrote, "Beneath the broad tide of human history, there flow the stealthy
Freemasons on the bingo card.
Undercurrents of the secret societies, which frequently determine in the depths the changes that take place upon the surface." Or as Rush Limbaugh said, "You see, if you amount to anything in Washington these days, it is because you have been plucked or hand-picked from an Ivy League school. Harvard, Yale, Kennedy School of Government."
As Rush Limbaugh said, "Oh, why do my lungs hurt?"
You've shown an aptitude to be a good Ivy League type, and so you're plucked, so to speak, and you are assigned success. You are assigned a certain role in government somewhere, and then your success is monitored and tracked, and you go where the pluckers and the handpickers can put you. World leaders are made offers they cannot refuse, bribed, even blackmailed, or otherwise recruited and sworn into these secret societies. Then, often under blood oaths to which they remain loyal, these Brotherhood initiates follow orders throughout their terms in office. In this way, the electorate constantly changes, giving the illusion of discontinuity of leadership, when in fact, each successive leader, coincidentally, belongs to the same secret societies. A few of the more influential ones,
except not every influential person in history or world leader is a Freemason? What? Not even most. Kirthan says, on an unrelated note, today a client called the law office I work at and said the police were on the way to arrest him for magic mushroom possession. He knew this because they told him telepathically. I hope the guy never sees these videos. Sky Comet says, my grandpa was a Freemason. Some of his buddies showed up to his funeral. Nice guys. Weird aprons. And Discordant Vol says, you mean the Ivy League is just a social club for wealthy people granting each other perks and favors?
include the free...
The guy on the bottom left is a country singer from, like, a decade ago, right? Why is he amongst all these other people? What's his name? I'm blanking on that guy's name. He was popular for a little bit. Maybe he still is. I don't know. Brad Paisley, was that his name? I don't know why Brad Paisley is on this list. World leader, Brad Paisley.
Freemasons, the Illuminati, Bohemian Grove, Skull and Bones, the Council on Foreign Relations, the Royal Institute of International Affairs, the Bilderberg Group, and the Trilateral Commission. Paul Joseph Watson wrote, a disturbing majority...
Ah, yes. A very legitimate source, that Paul Joseph Watson, and definitely not a Nazi or white nationalist at all.
...of the House and Senate representatives hold membership to elite organizations publicly sworn to destroying America in favor of a globalist one-world order system. This trend ranges from the now public U.S.-centered Council on Foreign Relations through the Trilateral Commission to the quasi-secret internationalist Bilderberg Group. At the end of the spectrum, we even see occult influences like Skull and Bones, along with the Freemasons. The justification for a zealously ordered one-world government is chaos. Terrorism is the premier method for fomenting this chaos. David Icke wrote, the conspiracy to create a centralized global fascist state.
David Icke is once again the guy that popularized the reptilian conspiracy theories.
Is orchestrated in the 5 cents world.
Does globalist count as thinly veiled anti-Semitism? Let's go for it. Thinly veiled.
By a secret network known collectively as the Illuminati, or Illuminated Ones.
Illuminati?
They manipulate through secret societies and groupings like the Freemasons, Knights of Malta, Knights Templar, and the Jesuits. These and others feed carefully chosen recruits into the Illuminati, and they are installed in positions of power throughout the world, infesting all colors, races, creeds, and countries. It is not that everyone in the secret societies is aware of the plot. The overwhelming majority are not. The Illuminati operate like a cancer to infiltrate and covertly control other organizations. Most Freemasons never progress higher than the bottom 3 levels of degree, the so-called blue degrees, and they don't realize what their organization is being used for. Just look at the recent...
Does Eric Dubé count as idiot who thinks he's a genius? Specifically, they have to mention something about how they're so much smarter than everyone else.
U.S. presidents.
Chris does it a lot.
George W. Bush, Mason and Skull and Bones. Bill Clinton, Mason, CFR, Bilderberg, Trilateral. George H.W. Bush, Mason, Committee of 300, Skull and Bones, CFR, Trilateral. Ronald Reagan, Mason, Knights of Malta. Jimmy Carter, Mason, CFR, Trilateral. Gerald Ford, Mason, CFR. And on it goes. Most every American president has belonged to one or many secret societies.
Doesn't the fact that you say it's most every kind of debunk your point, if it's not every single one?
Almost all.
Like, were the Freemasons just off that election cycle, or what happens on those elections?
America's founding fathers were Freemasons. The Senate has maintained a Masonic majority since its inception, and its influence has only become more pervasive since. To deny the influence...
Discordant Vol says, man, this is the only form of class consciousness we're gonna get. Unfortunately, it seems like it. Are they unaware of their doings, or are they involved in a multi-century-long conspiracy? It's both. That's the beauty.
Secret societies have in world...
Your arguments are a lot easier when no one in your audience expects you to make sense. I should just work for all conspiracists and make videos for them. I wouldn't have to be consistent or, like, have any integrity. I could just bullshit. Be nice.
World affairs is naive, but the mainstream media seem...
Stop holding me accountable, chat.
...complicit in their exclusion of any coverage involving them.
Mr. Whiskers says, if putting the OK sign up to your eyes means you're Illuminati, does that mean the Batman, making the Batman mask with your hands makes you anti-Illuminati? No. It makes you Batman.
As shown previously, this mainstream media blackout is also maintained through secret society membership. The 5 largest multimedia providers controlling 90% of America's media are bloodline or secret society controlled.
They get so close. Hey, monopolies are bad. Monopolies on things like media and the news are even worse. We should do something about that. You don't have to concoct some bullshit story about bloodlines and weird, creepy conspiracy shit. Rich people are just shit, because people are shit. And unfortunately, people are very, very selfish. So when they get power, a lot of people use that power to control other people, or use that power to exert their opinions on other people. Rich people buy media empires so they can push their politics. It's not some bloodline secret fucking Illuminati bullshit. It's just people being assholes. Discordant Vol says it's just a bunch of overlapping motivations of self-interest. It's not conspiracy, it's capitalism. Yeep.
For example, the following are just a few of the hundreds of CFR, Trilateral, or Bilderberg-owned and managed companies. ABC, CBS, NBC, PBS, CNN, AP, Reuters, New York...
You're kind of working backwards on this one. People who are in the Bilderberg group, tend to be influential and wealthy people. So the people who own giant media networks are kind of going to, by definition, be in that group. But still, rich people. I get it.
New York Times, New York Post, Washington Post, Washington Times, LA Times, Wall Street Journal, Newsweek, Business Week, National Review, Time, Life, Look, Fortune, Reader's Digest, U.S. News and World Report, Atlantic Monthly, McCall's, World Review, and Scientific American. Not only are the media, CEOs, and boards of directors usually secret society members, so are the show hosts and news anchors. Here's a sampling of some mainstream anchors and media personalities.
Oh my god, look at these people make a symbol with their hands.
Found on secret society rosters. Peter Jenner.
Guys, I'm in the Illuminati now. I did the thing. There was a huge daddy long legs in the kitchen and it scared the shit out of Cassia. Did you get it? Did you put it outside?
And rather, Tom Brokaw, Ted Koppel, Barbara Walters, Diane Sawyer, William F. Buckley Jr., Joseph Harsh.
Just how much of this video is listing people?
Bill Myers, C.C. Collinwood, David Brinkley, John Chancellor, Marvin Kalb, Daniel Shore, Joseph Kraft, James Reston, Max Frankel, David Halberstrom, Harrison Salisbury, Sol Linowitz, George Will, Robert McNeil, David Gergen, and Mortimer Zuckerman. Jim Mars wrote, "There can be no argument regarding the reality of secret societies today. The existence of groups like the Trilateral Commission, Council on Foreign Relations, and the Bilderbergers is well documented. The only question is the extent of their control and manipulation of major world events. Likewise, there is no question that members of these societies exert inordinate control over many of the largest corporations and banks in the world. These corporations, in turn, control essential minerals, energy, transportation, pharmaceuticals, agriculture, telecommunications, and entertainment. In other words, the basics of modern life. They also provide an inner core of ranking government officials on a revolving door basis. These officials often implement the very policies conceived and desired by the societies. These societies hold considerable sway over national elections and policy, yet seem strangely immune."
Okay. I think we get it. He's blaming the problems of capitalism on Freemasonry. What a genius.
Everything, 7. The one religion is what they're going to bring back when they bring the New World Order in. The one religion, the one currency, the one language. That's what they want. I'm seriously telling you, we need to get rid of all our politicians that run our planet. We need to put all responsible, honest people in to run our planet. Because you can't sell the land that you're on, because it's not yours to sell. This land was here when dinosaurs were here. Dinosaurs didn't even own it. And you think that you own it. You don't. You don't own your ass that you're sitting on. The only thing you own is your conscience. You don't even own the corona of your body. Because once you're dead, your conscience is gone, but your corona body is still left there like your car's left here in the car park until you finish your shopping. You come back to your corona. You die and then you come back to life, then you come back to your corona, life after death. Our lungs and our hearts are all coronas. Come on, people, wake up. Smell the coffee. The rat shit itself.
Did you say our lungs and our hearts are coronas? MH Dark Beast says, one last thing for me, since I know I'm likely annoying. A bit of a fun cleanse for Halloween.
In my life, I've done...
You're not annoying.
Done a lot of waiting on Halloween to come back around. One day, I got so bored of waiting that I decided to go for a run. I ran to the end of the road, and when I got there, I thought maybe I'd run to the end of Haddonfield. But before that, I stopped for a much-needed bathroom break and visited a family member. As I continued running, I came across a camp called Crystal Lake, where I met a boy named Jason. From what I gathered, he wasn't treated very good there, because when I left, he came with me. He even brought his mama. With Jason and his mama by my side, we ran all the way to the great state of Ohio, where we met a burned fellow in a striped sweater named Freddie, and he lived on Elm Street. We were so tired from the long journey, he let us take a nap. I never had a worse nightmare in my life. When I woke up, Halloween was still nowhere in sight, so we just kept on running. Eventually, I got hungry from all the running. Freddie and Jason's bickering didn't help either, but lucky for me, I remembered I had an old friend in Texas named Bubba, and his family owned a barbecue restaurant. After a few bites, we realized something didn't taste quite right, and Jason even threw up in his mask. After our stomachs settled, I figured since we'd come this far, we might as well run across the entire United States. And that's how we ended up in the golden state of California. At this point, some of us missed our lives back home and wanted to make a phone call or two, but this guy in a sparkly robe would not get off the phone. As I stood in line and did some deep thinking, I realized that I could celebrate Halloween all year. That's when I stopped running and started killing.
The Merkins are okay. I'm used to subscribe to them. The thing is, I find them funny, but they just do this. They just do the horror thing. And I feel like it's the same joke. But it is funny. Tea with Goblin says, here's a short and sweet video from Karen Brewer, whose unique brand of activism involves standing outside of government buildings yelling about Freemasons. She fled Australia for New Zealand to avoid paying hundreds of thousands in libel damages to an MP she had accused of being a satanic pedophile. Here, she back on her bullshit. Her telegram is an unhinged gold mine. Nice.
This is the fleur-de-lis here, okay? It's always the same. It's a trilogy. It represents Isis, Horus, and Set. Isis and Horus were brother and sister. They bred and had Set. It also replicates the act. This is the labia of the female, and this is the penis penetrating.
What?
Okay? And
it's a fence post!
It's also done in reverse at the bottom here, so this will be the labia, and this is the penis penetrating. It's always about that. So let's have a look at the filigree that's in the fence around here. As you can see, there's a whole lot of little pyramids here for a start to show you that he's Pharaoh. These are all pyramids. Again, we have the fleur-de-lis indicating incest bred for purpose Pharaoh. And this one's really interesting. A lot of people think this is an upside down heart. What it actually represents is the arse. So these are your arse cheeks. Okay, these are the cheeks of the arse, and this is the penis representing anal sex.
Why is it anal?
That's what that is. It's an unusual one. Okay. So you have your circumcised penis style headstone.
This gravestone is a circumcised penis!
Your Templars.
Misattribution of coincidence, sure. Discordant Vols says, dicks everywhere. I can't unsee the dicks.
Top. Okay, got your pillars either side, Freemason pillars, and let's have a read. Daisy, the youngest daughter of Daniel and Sarah Geddes. Geddes, that's a funny name, isn't it? All that Geddes stuff. She died aged 18, so more than likely a suicide. Also, Willie and Anne, so two others, who died in infancy, because they sacrificed their own. Also,
or because the infant mortality rate has historically been very high.
Jack, brother of the above, died aged 30.
My horns are dicks. True.
Or probably a suicide. We also have Dan, who died aged 33, probably a suicide. And the above, who was the father,
died at 33, probably a suicide. You're just basing that off what? He died at 33? The fuck? Gnome Pickles says, the world is just a forest of dicks, apparently, on a cornucopia, if you will.
Daniel, who died at 63, and Sarah died at 80, Having a look along the fence, what a...
Mr. Whiskers says, can you imagine someone putting up with this audio because they find this interesting?
We got the bum cheeks again, with the penis penetrating, because they are into ass fucking, that's what they do.
Why do you assume it's ass fucking?
Here we have the acorn seed, meaning they've laid lots of seeds around the place. And again, pyramid base, octagon.
Like, you can have vaginal intercourse from behind. She knows this, right? Logarth says you could say their cup is overflowing.
And they were into sacrifice. Every single headstone here, they're all Masons. Our history is a lie. Whatever we think we know about history is not true. Anything you read in a book, subject to Mason influence. You want to know the history? Start walking your local cemeteries. Let's have a look at this one over here.
Stop reading books. Start looking for anal sex in cemeteries.
Okay, we're here at the courthouse, the ambulance station, and we've got this news journalist.
This is the same lady that's holding the camera.
Turned up apparently from Stuff NZ. Asked her a very easy question: where did she go to school? And she's refusing to answer that. I don't know why. It's such a basic
because
question.
I asked why you want to know, and I haven't been given a reason.
Well, I can tell you, the entire media is fully infected with Freemason démolay, which is why I'm asking you, where did you go to school? Which primary and which high school?
So how would you know by my primary school and my high school?
Still can't answer the question. I'd like you all to pay attention. This is classic démolay deflection tactic. They refuse to answer very basic questions. It's not a trick question. Where did you go to school? Which primary school? Which high school?
Well, I went to St John's Primary School, Warangi Bay. I went to intermediate school, Carmel College, Wolford, and then I went to high school at Rangatoto.
Right. And with regards to the Northland trafficking ring, the three judges that allowed 4 child rapists to walk out of your courts, what exactly has the media done to promote that particular...
Stone Corbell says random lunatic comes up on the street and starts asking me personal questions. I wouldn't answer either.
...case and highlight to the people that it is the politicians that appoint the judges. And it is the judges that allow them to walk.
I do my stories. I've covered a lot of that, including the protests.
And do you think that those particular 4 sentences so far handed down, do you think that's justified?
I'm not here to give my opinion.
Do you think it's really got no opinion on child rape? I think everyone should have an opinion on child rape.
Okay, well that's up to you, but I'm a journalist. I have to stay here.
So.
Oh, this lady's insufferable. Discordant Vol says, I see I went to fuck off primary and eat shit and die high. It's a great high school.
G'day everybody. It's Karen Brewer here, coming at you live from the Bush Telegraph. I want to clarify a few things for you all, okay? What happened to me in court today is not a win. Do you get it? I'm still on bail conditions. I'm still held hostage. They've not provided proof of claim.
Oh, this is the same stuff that Daryl, what's-his-face, is trying in his trial.
And yet I'm still being abused by the New Zealand court system.
Daryl Brooks.
And I am still being abused by people who are in public office and believe they have the right to abuse the people. What happened to me today in court is not...
You are a person. You are not the people. No individual is the people. We are collectively the people. Well, in this context, all the people of Australia would be the people.
So get that through your heads for a start. I don't know what more I can do to endeavour to empower you all to stand the fuck up. Okay? Last weekend, 100,000 people yelling and screaming and singing and dancing and protesting all around the streets of fucking Melbourne. Hello? Dan Andrews still your fucking premier? Then wake the fuck up. What you're doing isn't working.
She's mad. Rachology says, looking for anal sex in a graveyard. Part of growing up in English countryside is that teenagers frequently go to a quiet graveyard, it being dark, out of the way, with horizontal surfaces off the ground to fuck. Just remember that next time you see a cozy drama set in an English village. Good lord. She also believes in Tartaria. Lovely.
The people of Auckland. Driving around Auckland slowly in your cars.
Line between Chudwatch and Tinfoil for this woman? Sure.
Every politician still sitting, are they? Still allowing them to jabby your kids, are you? Still allowing the coercion of everyone that's, got to pay the mortgage and, selling their soul for $1?
Lily Love Stuff says Mary Shelley had sex for the first time on her mom's tombstone. Had sex for the first time on her mom's tombstone.
Proud of that? You're proud of that, Anzac, hey? Both sides of the ditch, you're proud of that? You sit around, you follow filthy fucking people for 18 months that have led you fucking nowhere. And at this point in time, you're just enabling it. Yep, you bloody are. Because if you ain't standing at the home of your governors, you're fucking enabling it. The amount of people that'll make excuses.
Mr. Whiskers gifts 300 bits and says Snipe becoming stream boss.
Oh, I've got ABCD, or I've got this, or I've got that, or I've got something else. Fuck, I don't know what you people are going to say the day you're comes to meet the Creator. I really fucking don't. For 3 years now, I have endeavoured to the best of my ability every day to teach you all about this network of filth. And I still get people that'll leave a comment that says, oh, here's the petition, sign the petition.
Hydrate.
I delete those people and I block those people. Petition pussies, I call you lot. You think you're all so fucking special that someone else is going to come and save your ass. Well, you're not. There's the fact. No, you're not special. You're either going to stand up on the 2 feet the Creator gave you at the homes of those governors, or you're going to assist in the genocide of your countrymen. Simple as that. Now you can, all you die-hard fans of whoever, who teach you nothing, that are orchestrating all the street festivals and singing and listen to another boring speaker talk to you about shit you already know, keep you distracted for a few hours, you go home exhausted, and the Freemason network of filth continues to flourish on. Are you really proud of that? My God. Who are we as a people?
FBI, is this a threat? Yes.
Do you not see what's...
Wow, this lady's angry. Alright, let's see what else we got.
I've really struggled to find somewhere quiet to do a video tonight. Been down to Roach Abbey. What I've been doing is I've been looking into the capability brown cover-up of Roach Abbey, and I want to talk a bit about the mud flood. I've heard about this for probably about 12 months. Been going around Sheffield finding buildings that have got levels below the ground. Now, last week, Dora Vernon sent me a video about how they'd actually covered our history up. And this had happened around Chatsworth House. There'd been a medieval past around there. And also around the big houses around the country. A guy called Capability Brown had gone around these major houses covering up the historical past. So in the past, lots of people, a lot more than you see living around places like Chatsworth now, had lived around Chatsworth. They were probably small towns. And then what happened is there was an Ike passed.
Why is this man just sitting in a field and talking about his conspiracy theories? How about this one? This one's has some brevity.
History of mankind has been altered. We have been indoctrinated by false history. History is written by the victors, and questioning is the fundamental part of science. Come with me on a journey of questioning the official story of the ancient lost lands of Tataria and the Great Mud Flood Reset. Was Tataria an ancient land with free energy, electricity, and futuristic technologies wiped out by the old world order via a great reset that took place in the 1800s? The alternative research points to the big question.
My research said not by a researcher. Alternative research, aka bullshit.
Are we living on top of an advanced civilization which was destroyed in a deliberate cataclysm not natural for the elites to control and change the world for their benefits, for the divine right to rule? It definitely goes along the guidelines of the Georgia Guidestones to maintain humanity at a certain level of existence, flooding the earth with mud as the rich and powerful hide in deep underground bases and eventually repopulate the earth. In today's video, we will go over Tataria and the Great Mud Flood Reset. We can see how times and dates have been changed by the rulers in 1582, switching to the Gregorian calendar. Even the Bible was changed by King James in 1611. Out of place artifacts.
Only that time, though. The Bible wasn't changed any other time except that time.
All over the world. Is the Earth actually on a plane? We hear about lost cities of Atlantis with wireless electricity in the cities and incredible buildings. Keep an open mind as we bring new evidence, as we question the history.
Oh man, that couldn't possibly be a fucking bird. Look at the bird head! Come on!
Books of what we are taught in our schools, or not taught in our schools, as I never was taught about Tataria. Were you? Catacombs of the Vatican Library around the world are not for you and not for I. How did all these megaliths and pyramids built that we cannot recreate today with all of our advanced technology?
Not familiar with the Luxor, apparently. Yes, we can. Disbelief of historical achievements on the bingo card.
Evidence shows that electricity and futuristic technologies have been here long before ancient cultures. The Great Pyramid of Giza harnessed electromagnetic energy in its chambers.
No, it did not.
The Tesla electric oscillator resembles the ancient Egyptian symbol Anka. Nikola Tesla, the man who gave us our world of electricity today, was obsessed with ancient Egypt. With all of our technologies today's, with smartphones, internet, 5G, we still cannot recreate the pyramids or huge...
Yes, we can!
Megalithic structures that we are told prehistoric cavemen built. As if that makes any sense. Cathedral windows are compared to somatic sound frequencies. So many unanswered questions on how all these architectural structures all over the world in Rome, Greece, Australia, Europe, and the United States are all built via the same fashion. That same fashion that we don't see being built today.
Classic. It doesn't understand architecture on the bingo card. Yeah, it's called neoclassical architecture.
It's all over the world and underneath the ocean. Was this because the Tartarians built all these structures and after the great...
No, it's actually because if you stack up rocks in this shape, they tend to stay like that longer than rocks you stack up in other shapes. Just a fun fact.
Mud flood they were just built upon, and the stories told about these architectures were all rewritten. As we see, buildings built all over the world are designed as if a portion of the bottom of the buildings are covered up by what could...
Basements! Stone Corbell says we can. It's just not something we feel the need to replicate. Why would we build a giant stone pyramid today? We have better construction techniques, and also the rise of capitalism means we prioritize practicality over ornamentation.
Be a mud flood. I always had this feeling that all these technologies we are using, we've used before. We adapted way too quickly in just a decade with the singularity of technology. We have seen many people die who try to make free energy public. Even Tesla, who created our entire world of electricity, was ousted by Thomas Edison, putting out fake news to discredit him and his new form of electricity, alternating current. Edison filmed and killed elephants on tape so the new world of electricity could be monetized for the elites. Even the kite experiment with electricity, we're told, was conducted by Ben Franklin, a member of secret societies like the Hellfire Club. If this lost history of Tataria had free energy, it makes sense why the psychopaths in power would manipulate our future.
The thing I never understood about the DC AC thing, saying like the elites killed Tesla so that we'd only use DC current. Like, yes, Thomas Edison attempted to discredit him and at the time succeeded for a while, but power networks use alternating current now. So they lost, if that was the case.
For their benefits. And I have a feeling this happens over and over again, rewriting history. Are we in store for another great reset? A great mud flood reset? Maybe not with flooding with mud, maybe by some other tools, fires. We are all distracted by celebrities, drinking, addiction, junk food, the bread and circus show. It keeps us from asking questions. We are all stuck in a rat race of 8 hours a day working that we don't have time to sit around and think. History is all fake. Cultural editors. We hear stories of John Wayne. Well, John Wayne was a Freemason, and all these elites are part of secret societies connecting to the Illuminati. But this flood and these cataclysms explain why our egos are so big. The Old Testament talks about floods, and our egos get bigger and bigger for survival purposes. I look around at everyone today, and everybody thinks that they're the greatest person ever selected to walk on this planet. I just have a feeling that these mud flood resets have happened millions of times, where the elites not only create them, but survive them via their underground bases, and small pockets of society also survive them as well. 1851 was the Great Tataria mud flood. Tataria was the largest country in the world. Tataria until
it wasn't.
The 18th century, it was a large country, according to Wikipedia. Before the 18th century, maps had Tatari. Maps said that this is just an area where nomads lived. But was it actually a large, powerful empire? They had a language and a flag. The Tatari flag was a dragon or an owl, which goes into symbolism of the Illuminati and elite. If this is the case that Tataria was an advanced civilization, all the architectures we are taught about have been perverted. For example, the Great Wall of China might have been built by Tataria and was hijacked. The Greek and Roman buildings are actually Tatarian buildings. Buildings around the world found in Europe, then found in Russia and Italy, where whole rooms...
Like, I'm pretty sure we have records that still exist about the building and, like, various renovations over history of the Great Wall of China. Like, China, like, Imperial China of different eras. I don't know how to put this, but they were good at record keeping. They kept a lot of records. Logarth says, the Shriners never drove little cars before John Wayne joined, then nobody wanted to drive a bigger car than him. The short cars are used to this day to honor the memory of John Wayne. I can't tell if this is a joke or not.
and buildings are beneath the ground. and a mud flood happened, and the elites just built on top of it as if nothing happened. These buildings are in San Francisco, Sydney, Melbourne. 12 feet of civilization buried and not told to us in our history books. The same architecture all over the world is the same because it was built by the same people, the
Yeah, they're called humans.
Tatarians, and history rewritten. Alexander the Great could be a fictitious character. The people
Send me a link to the God Rules video.
of Tataria might have
I'll
had
check it
red
out.
hair and blue eyes. Even Muhammad had red hair, and is a Muslim tradition to dye their beards red. Let's go back to secret society history and its possible connection to the rewriting of history. In 1717, Premier Ground Lodge was founded, the first Freemason temple. 1744, Mayor Rothschild was born. 1760s was when the banking system started. 1770s.
Wait, is this guy under the impression that banks didn't exist until the 1700s? No, sir. Banks were not invented in the 1700s. Where did he go? There he is.
6. The Illuminati was founded. 1777. Adam Weishaupt, the founder of the Illuminati, was initiated into Freemasonry. 1850s was to set the stage for the new world, wipe the old world clean for a new story. This is how history is deconstructed and reconstructed. 1851 was the Great Tataria mud flood, and a select 1% were ready to dig up the buildings after the flood.
For those who don't know, the Illuminati were basically the French Revolution version of QAnon. When people wanted to explain, like, why is everything going to shit? Why are all the peasants getting all uppity? Why is the monarchy collapsing? Must be the Illuminati.
Deep underground military bases, mega sewer systems in San Francisco, aqueducts in Arizona. None of it makes sense on why it's all there, as the cities were just being built. The Pied Piper story was based before the 1800s, before the mud flood. These children were stolen. They steal the children, flood the world, and repopulate the world. Are the bloodline families behind this planning of doing it again? Are they preparing for another mud flood as hundreds of thousands of children end up missing each year? Are they storing them into DUMBs to repopulate after the
DUM stands for Deep Underground Military Base.
next mud flood? All the news we hear about the world going to end by AOC because of carbon emissions and world government.
Ah yes, famously AOC, the discoverer of human-caused climate change.
Government's plans for 2030, they might just use fires instead of flooding this time with direct energy weapons. We see how fires played a big role in the past. In 1889, they had the Seattle fire. They had the Great Fire of Jacksonville. In 8 hours, the fire burnt 146 city blocks, destroyed more than 2,000 buildings. The Crystal Palace, destruction by fire. Info was burned. Winston Churchill said, "This is the end of an age." The Crystal Palace was totally destroyed.
Past Lunacy says, so even if this Tartaria existed, what if they were bad and the mud flood was to stop them? How are they so sure that they have this massive conspiracy understood? It's a good question. I don't know. They just have a gut feeling.
It makes you question what's really going on. We have been taught the human race loves wars, and we all like to kill each other. And we have been at wars with each other for centuries without technology. But is this even true? If the elites are planning this again, they could use Elon Musk's Boring Company.
Let me stop you right there. Any conspiratorial organization dumb enough to hire Elon Musk for anything, you don't have to worry about their top secret plans. They're gonna fail.
They have the capabilities of building underground cities for the elites to live in during the next reset. As throughout history, we are finding massive underground cities. underground cities carved out of rock in Catanolia, cities found in Cappadocia region of Turkey, Derinkuya cave cities can fit over 20,000 people, underground cities in Budapest, underground in Atlanta, subway tunnels, airports at Denver, their underground base. Here's a CIA document in 1952 that talks about Tataria and how things could be reset. You can see Tataria on older maps. 1862 was the last Tataria map. After the 1800s, it was reduced to a small size. So what are your thoughts? Put your comments down below. Are we not being told the truth about our history? Anyway, it's Donut. Thank you for tuning in. Have a wonderful day, and God bless you.
I'm going to put on Sausage Guy for a second because I need to use the bathroom. But then I will be right back and we'll watch another video and then we're probably going to call it an evening.
Well, hey there, folks, and welcome back. I guess they're just like regular Snickers, except they got a little bit of green to them. Now we're talking sausage-sized pieces. Sheep meat. It's like monkey bread, but a little bit grosser. The bowl's too small to mix it. Throw it back in and it'll be mixed. It's as green as the stuff coming out of my nose. My kids gave me a cold like you wouldn't believe. It's just your run-of-the-mill cold. But boy, is it giving my IBS a run for its money. I say we're ready. Almost there. And we'll hit it with a little bit of salt and just a little bit of... Is this coming out? Yeah, that's coming out. A little bit of pepper. Oh, yeah. You know, I once paid good money to do the same thing in Tijuana. Holiday! Sausage break! I need to lay down! Mr. Sausage is starting to feel woozy. Gross. In 3, 2, 1. Let's sausage. That's all the casing we got. Well, that's the end of the sausage anyway, so we didn't miss out on too much. All right, we got 4 sausages, almost of equal size, with special thanks to today's Mark Boxalo box artist, this guy. Tale as old as time. So will it blow? Very, very little, right in the tummy area. So I'm gonna have to give that will it blow 1 Mark Ruffalo's. So pan-searing sugar-based sausages has not been our friend in the past. So today we're gonna boil these sausages. Looks like there's chocolate scum rising to the surface. They look like little turds floating in the bowl. All right, now we're gonna sear these up real quick. Here we go! Alright, that's about as comfortable as I'm gonna get. Well, alright, let's open one up and see how we did. No, I caught it. Oh, it looks like a plain old sausage, but you know, let's try it. You're the next contestant on the Sausage is Gross. It's got a nice green hue to it. Here we go! It's okay. It's very heavy on the peanut taste. In fact, it tastes like peanut brittle. Peanut mush. It tastes like peanut mush. Inside of our sausage autopsy here. I would love to give this sausage more of a score, but it just tastes like peanuts with a meat texture. So I'm gonna have to give this sausage here a 2 out of 5.
Well, that was gross.
Over the past 2 years, I've done a number of videos covering our history, and not only in, of course, America, but here we have Scotland, for example, and all across the world, particularly in the 1800s. I did videos on this as well, but also I've recently covered what happened in the Middle Ages, some rather curious things I'm going to show you in this video, some new stuff. And actually, I'm going to be getting into quite a bit of stuff, because you might have seen 1 or 2 of my videos on this topic, but I kind of went into a lot of different branches over the last 2 years and probably went about 5 or 6 different directions. I'm going to sort of give you a bird's eye view in this video of kind of what I've discovered and sort of put.
Is he Mudflood now?
Put together. And there's 0 people in this massive square.
Yep, that's Mudflood.
Is the road. They've turned this, okay, obviously you can see in all these different cities I'm looking, of course, could be in this building.
Is that Phil Collins? What the fuck? Don't appropriate Phil Collins for your terrible conspiracy video, please. I can feel it coming in the air tonight.
Hello everyone, I am Lynn with Psychic Focus, and today I want to look at a cool topic here on med beds. And this person wanted to know, says, hi Lynn, please look at med beds and the availability to citizens in the near future. Is it free for everyone? Thank you. I've talked about them before, but I thought it was a great time to revisit them, change the topics up, and see what's going on here. And I get that they've been used and they've been tested for a really long time. This is not completely new technology.
They don't exist.
It's something we talk about more, but I get they have been around for a while. They look to work on the premise of sound, frequency, and light. They help to harmonize the body and promote healing by creating and regenerating of healthy cells and tissues. So infusing an unhealthy cell with a vibration associated to healthy cells promotes either the death or the healing of the unwell cell. And what I meant by that, when I'm looking at my notes here, so your liver cells, for example, they all vibrate at a certain frequency.
No, they don't.
So when you have an anomaly, and say you have cancer start to grow within the liver, that cell does not have the same frequency as a healthy liver cell.
None of that means anything.
So by laying in this bed and having this bed infuse the cancer cell with the frequency of what a healthy liver cell should be, it's either going to, 1, kill the cancer cell, or 2, help that cancer cell sort of reprogram itself so a healthy liver cell can grow in its place. That's how I see these med beds working. I get they've been used by elites, and they're slowly going to be released to the wealthy parts of the population, and that's how they're going to come about first. I also get that Big Pharma may appear to be impressed by the technology, but they're going to try hard to suppress it. They're going to make it hard to access. They're going to make it very difficult and expensive. And I get they're going to do kind of like what they did with the Oregon energy machines. Those worked, but what did they do? They went in and basically took the technology so it could not be made available, because they don't want people to truly be healthy. There's no money made really in health. It's made
Science fiction is fact. Yeah, we had that.
In the
but this would also
medication part of it, the healing
I've
part
seen the
of
Daryl
it,
Brooks
and
stuff,
all of those
yeah.
kind of things. I hate to say that, but that is the facts of the world we live in. I get it's going to be considered experimental when it comes out, and it's going to be a bit of a battle in terms of affordability, because I don't see insurance companies wanting to pay it, because it's going to be new technology, tested technology. So it'll be mainly for the elites when this first comes out. Also, in tandem with everything that's going on, there is a depopulation agenda actively at play, and this type of healing works against that goal of the depopulation. So,
depopulation, population control on the bingo card.
The more remote areas of the world are going to have access, and if you are in the know and willing to travel, you could possibly experience it and go somewhere else. Just like people in the States travel to other countries for treatments and for different things because of affordability and accessibility.
He's claiming a juror posted on Reddit that they weren't able to verify subject matter jurisdiction. Why does he think it was a juror?
Medbed's working like that too, sadly. I see that's how these first start to come out. I get it's going to be a long time before this type of healing is made to be easily available to the mass population. We're eventually going to get there. It's just going to take some time and some proven health and healing to get to that point. But I do see it on the horizon. I do see it possible. And eventually we will.
Because in the Reddit post they said they're a juror. Yeah, I don't believe that. That's a troll. 100% that's a troll.
And that is all I have for this reading. Thanks so much for listening. Again, I am Lynn with Psychic Focus. And if you would like a reading of your own, a question of your own to be put.
Are we going to cover Daryl tomorrow? Probably. We'll see how I feel after my COVID booster. Those usually make me really lethargic. If I felt as bad as I have the previous times, I'm probably gonna take a day off. But if I do work tomorrow, yes, we'll probably do Daryl tomorrow.
Put out on the blog, made a video, a Reiki session, or anything like that. Please hit me up on my blog. We have lots of great stuff out there, great community. I am Psychic Focus at psychicfocus.blogspot.com. Take care. Bye.
Hope the internet doesn't blow this case. Yeah, that would suck, but I don't think that's the case. I think it's just a troll. Alright, 3 hours. I'd say that's a stream. Let's see who we're gonna raid. What's Jeff doing? What's Jeff doing?
It was very painful, and let me just they spent the ordeal with the penises lasted for at least a good week in that June. Like from June
all right, have
June
a good night.
They were just having
I'll
this
see you guys
ordeal
tomorrow or
with
the next
penises.
day.
Because of Jesuit trigger programming on the Church of Gale computers, they spent a lot of time in sick bay. Matthew practically had a vagina at that point.
I picked a good stream to raid into. See you guys.
What happened was